If you're ready to gain clarity, align with God's calling, and activate the habits that accelerate real growth in your life, you're in the right spot. This is the Worthy Woman Podcast. My name is Amy Ramsey. I'm a Jesus follower, a certified high performance coach, and a life and leadership strategist. This is where you'll come to for real life coaching, strategies, and tools, all delivered through a Bible-based and science-backed approach to help you walk worthy of that calling that's inside of you and make the impact that God designed you to carry. Let's go straight to the episode.
If you feel constantly behind, mentally exhausted, reactive, scattered, and in general, you feel like your week is running you instead of you leading your week, this episode is going to be just for you. If you've ever started Monday and you just feel absolutely overwhelmed and feel mentally cluttered, and you know how emotionally draining that is, right? If you struggle to stay focused on what matters and maybe find yourself busy, like really busy, but you don't feel like you're actually making progress, and you struggle with inconsistency with routines, with habits, and honestly, just being like, just following through, being the woman that follows through. You might set goals and want it really badly, but there is a gap between actually achieving this. I want you to know you're not alone. And I'm so glad you've joined me today on the Worthy Woman podcast. I'm going to walk you through 5 weekly planning habits that will not only help reduce your overwhelm, it will help with your anxiety level. It'll help you create clarity and help you lead your life with more peace. Glory, hallelujah. Can I get an amen right there? It'll help you lead your life with more peace, more purpose, and more focus. And these are the same principles I teach inside the Worthy Woman Planner and also inside my coaching program, my coaching programs, because most women don't have a motivational problem. They have a leadership problem. I heard a friend one time say that leadership is lead her ship. And I kind of like that. It's self-leadership. How are we leading ourselves? And instead of leading, they're staying in reaction mode. And the good news is with a few intentional weekly habits, this can absolutely change the trajectory of your week, change the trajectory of your emotions, change the trajectory of your results. If you want a different outcome, you've got to do things differently. All right, before we jump into these 5 weekly planning habits to help your life, I am really excited to let you know that the Worthy Woman Planner is officially available for sale. I'm so excited. Like, this has been a project that I underestimated how hard it was going to be. Can I just be really real? It was that reminder that achieving our goals and doing something big like that, it's always harder than we think it's going to be. So I want to put that little nugget right there for you. Whatever you're going to set out to do, it's just going to probably take you longer, require you to skill up in some areas, probably cost some more money than you anticipated. And that's definitely been the case for this, but I'm so excited because finally it's available. And I'm just really uh, expectant of all of the women that it's going to unlock and move forward. So what I want to share with you, a lot of the principles that I'm going to walk you through in these weekly routines are in that Worthy Woman Planner, you can grab it and use this same resource and have it as a tool in front of you. So you can go to worthywomanplanner.com, or you can check out the show notes. But I would love for you to grab it's a limited prototype edition right now, but it is available finally. And listen, it's so funny because I don't know what I don't know. I am the first one to always say that. And every step along the way has been a process. And just getting this thing to have the ability to sell it and say, hey, you can go to here, was a whole, can I just tell you what a process it is? I don't sell products. This is the first time I'm selling a product, but to be able to ship it, and it will come straight from my house. From my heart to yours, I will pray over that planner. So you can, again, go to the worthywomanplanner.com and grab your copy. Okay, we're going to jump right into this podcast. The first habit to get into is a weekly brain dump. If you will spend 30 minutes on the weekend, or sometimes if my weekend's busy or I just don't feel like having an agenda, I'll do it early Monday morning. But before your week gets started, if you will do a weekly brain dump, stop trying to carry all of that information in your head. It causes overwhelm just because you've got too many balls you're juggling all at one time, too many details, too many things that you need to tend to and take care of. And get it out of your head and get it onto paper. Everything. And I mean everything. All of your tasks, all of your ideas, all of the appointments that you have, all of the open loops of the projects that need to be closed, things that are keeping you up at night, things that you're mentally rehearsing. Your brain was designed to create and solve problems, but not to store endless mental clutter. And it leaves us feeling overwhelmed. Many women feel overwhelmed and anxious, often just because they're carrying too much at once. And a weekly brain dump will create clarity for you. It will create calm for you. This is an interesting scripture. It's 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. I mean, think about that. We serve a God of order. So get everything out of your head and onto a paper. I do a weekly review, and in that weekly review, I write out my top 3 things that I need to accomplish by the end of the week. Can I tell you, just doing that forces me to stop, slow down, and think through what's the most important thing here. Mark Twain says it like this: the best way to get something done is to begin. Okay, we're going to take that part out, remove the Mark Twain quote. So get you a little Sunday afternoon. I have a friend who says that every Sunday evening she said she grabs herself a glass of wine, and at 7:00 she sits down and she plans her week. Another thing that I do when I just sit and plan my week is, and we'll remove that as well. Okay, so write it all down, get it out of your head, and do your brain dump. Habit number 2 is to review your calendar before the week starts, to know what appointments you've got on the books. Most women wait until Monday morning to even think about their week. But successful women and high performance women prepare before, the pressure hits. So take a look at all of your appointments. Take a look at your project deadlines. Take a look at family obligations, anything special coming up for your family, your travel plans, any meetings that you may have. Also, take a look at, hey, for me to show up with excellence for this important meeting, or I'm traveling to do this, it would be really helpful if I had this prepared ahead or if I had margin going into that meeting. So I don't want to be exhausted, or I don't want to have a lot of pressure packed things moving into this particular time. So, like, understanding those big important places that you need to be and how you need to show up, and understanding your priorities is everything. This for you is going to create emotional preparedness, and it'll also help you logistically map through your week. Oftentimes, when I'm doing this, I also just send out a quick text. Hey, just wanted to confirm that we've got, I'll see you at XYZ time on Tuesday, especially if it's like an in-person meeting. I also take a look at my appointments and think through, can anything be moved if I've got a busy week? Can I remove anything? Is there also, when I look through this, I also say to myself, is there anything that is unnecessary on this schedule that I could maybe reclaim some time? And all of this has been so helpful for me. It just helps me to keep my mind straight and sharp and just not have the overwhelm, but the clarity. The clarity is everything. When your brain is clear, when you've created focus and your brain is clear, you know what to do. And you don't sit kind of spinning your wheels. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Habit number 3 is prioritize your big rocks first. So busy is not the same thing as productive. And I have a feeling if I said, hey, are you busy? You'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. So many women spend their entire week handling errands, emails, interruptions, and small fires while absolutely neglecting the big things that would actually move their life forward, their business forward. So I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Number 1, what matters most this week? Number 2, what would make this week more meaningful? I love that question. And number 3, what deserves my best energy? Schedule your priorities first, not your leftovers. Give your family your best. Listen, there was a time in my life when I just had my priorities out of whack. I'm not proud of this. I'm going to share just kind of an embarrassing moment, but it really, I learned a big lesson. I failed forward. How about that? I was so busy and I got out of alignment with my priorities. And I was exhausted. I ended up hitting clinical burnout. But before that, before I had the disruption of having clinical burnout and understanding what my body was going through, I would show up for family things and still schedule stuff with family. But I was so exhausted, I literally could barely keep my eyes open at night or when we had the opportunity to be with our adult children. One night in particular, we were hanging out with our adult kids, which is a privilege. If you have adult children, you know just what I'm talking about. And those moments are precious. And we were all together, and I felt like I needed toothpicks to keep my eyes open on the couch. And I think at one point I just dozed off. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. And that was an aha moment for me that that's not how I want to show up for my family. I don't want them to get my leftovers. And so I had to make some big changes in my life. And I want to encourage you to get in alignment with your God's assignment. Keep your priorities, your family, and the things that matter to you most need to be your big rocks and your big priorities. And for us as women, we're ambitious. We need to steward our ambition and realign regularly. And to know that you're not alone if yours are getting out of whack. I'll never forget one time I was on a call, some sort of a group coaching call type of thing, and one lady that I have so much respect for she's like, you look at her and you're like, oh gosh, she's a great mom, has a great family. And I have so much respect for her. But she said, she goes, I have to write myself a note to text my children and to be more present with my family because I get so wrapped up in my work. And that gave me so much permission to go, oh, if she feels that way, then I'm not crazy that I feel this way. So maybe you're like me and like this friend of mine who is so amazing. And hey, friend, if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start achieving success God's way, I would love to help you. This is what I do every single day, and I have the best job in the world. As a certified high performance coach, I help ambitious women combine biblical truth, a biblical worldview, with the science of how God designed the brain so they can renew their minds, hardwire high performance habits, and finally become the women who follow through. Because success, I need you to listen, I need you to hear this, is not about trying harder. It's about thinking differently. It's about building the right systems, having the right strategy, and creating habits that make excellence your new normal. If you're looking for personalized support, I would love to work with you through private one-on-one coaching. If you thrive in a community, maybe my mastermind would be a good fit. It's designed to help you gain clarity, build momentum, and keep moving forward with accountability and strategy. If you're ready for a transformational experience, I also would love to invite you to apply for my Worthy Woman Fall Retreat coming up, where we will step away from the noise, hear God, and build a practical plan for your next season in a very luxurious setting. Also, I partner with organizations, corporations, churches, companies through keynote speaking and interactive workshops on the science of high performance. I teach leaders and teams how to communicate more effectively, create healthier habits, increase productivity, build stronger systems, and ultimately generate better results. So, whether you're leading a company, leading a team, or simply leading the life God has entrusted to you, you don't have to figure it out alone. I'll drop some links in the show notes here, and you can also visit amyramsey.com to learn more about coaching, speaking, workshops, my mastermind, and the Worthy Woman Fall Retreat. Let's stop hoping things change and start building the habits and the systems and the mindsets that create lasting transformation. Okay, let's get right back into today's episode. And maybe you're like us and need to write yourself a note to keep your family a priority. Okay, I love this quote by Dwight D. Eisenhower that says, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. So really get clear on your priorities and remember, not everything is urgent. All right. Number 4, moving right along. Number 4, plan your health first. Your health is your wealth. And if you don't have your health, you're not going to be able to sustain anything that you're doing. I love the science of high performance. The science of high performance is about having massive success, long-term sustained success. Write that down. Long-term sustained success, and having joy in your relationships and having your health and wellness. If you lose your health, then what? And protecting your health and your energy is going to affect everything. It will affect your focus. It will affect your patience. It's going to affect your emotions, your discipline, your consistency, your leadership. You cannot lead yourself well, much less anybody else, if you're chronically exhausted. So a couple of things here. I just want to almost brain dump for you some ways that you can plan your health. And this is going to be really important because it's not all your nutrition and your exercise. It's you're so much more integrated than that. But do plan your meals, plan your hydration. If you're like me, I have to put my cups out and make sure I get it. Plan your movement. How are you going to move that body consistently? How are you going to exercise? Plan your sleep. Have a great nighttime routine. Your sleep is everything. It's the foundation of your health. Do everything you can to get a good quality night's sleep. Plan your recovery. How are you going to recover and have a rhythm of rest and recovery? That's one thing that we really map out in the Worthy Woman Planner. We have a weekend rhythm where you can write out what you might like to accomplish, who you want to connect with. How are you going to rest, though? How are you going to have fun? Plan some joy. Come on, plan some margin in your life. One thing I love about the Worthy Woman Planner is it incorporates your health. I was in the fitness, health and wellness, nutrition space for over 25 years. And I believe that integratively, we have to honor our health and wellness. We are mind, body, spirit. The scripture says body, soul, and spirit. And keeping that full integrative approach in mind when we're looking at our health. So in the planner, on the week ahead, not only do you have your top 3 priorities, your top 3 non-negotiables, but there's also a wellness plan. And you'll list out your meal plan for the week and how you'll work out or move. That's gold. Just thinking about that ahead of time. Your health, I'll say it again, your health is your wealth. And if you're too busy to steward your health well, then you're too busy. Your priorities are out of whack, Sister Sue. We've got to get that back in check. And so I want to encourage you here in this so strongly because I want you to have sustained success, long-term success, and not have regrets at the end of your life because you didn't tend to your health in a way that you didn't tend to your temple, the only body that you get this side of heaven, responsibly. We don't want that regret, right? Jim Rohn says, take care of your body. It's the only place you will live. Okay, that leads us to number 5. Are you ready? Stop overbooking every minute of your life. Number 5 is build margin into your week. And I'm telling you what, I have learned this in such a powerful way this year. And let me share a little bit about my journey because margin matters, white space matters, rest matters, breathing room creates peace and emotional resilience. This year, it's my goal to practice 52 Sabbaths. I want to take Sundays off in worship and rest. And when I first started in January, I can't tell you how hard it was. Here's what a Sabbath looks like for me. Number 1, no work. Number 2, no social media at all. Number 3, worship and rest. So that's it. That's kind of my criteria for my Sabbath. No work. I didn't realize how much I was working on Sunday. So I had to squeeze everything in that I was doing on Sunday. I had to start squeezing it in on Friday and Saturday. It took me January to realize, holy smokes, I was working way too many hours Monday through Saturday. And I was coming to Sunday absolutely exhausted. But it made me reevaluate my life. It made me reevaluate my schedule to say something's got to give. And I just want to say this right here. I was on a coaching call with my Accelerate Her ladies, and we were talking about something specifically, but what came up, when you peel an onion and you peel it layer by layer by layer, we dissected an onion, and what was evident was a pattern of overcommitment in many of the ladies. They're ambitious. They're moving forward on their goals and their dreams and the desires of their heart. But when our ambition gets out of alignment, which it happens like all the time, when God's created you, and you're a visionary and you're going and you're doing the things, that's who you already are. We have to bring it back into alignment. But what came up was feelings of inadequacy and failure and all of these negative emotions, like feeling bad about themselves. But once I evaluated their schedule, realized all that they had going on in their life, just from a coaching perspective and life coaching, I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I think you got a lot going on here. And that's one thing that I love to do is a time audit and just taking a zoomed out view of the overall schedule. But practicing the Sabbath, back to that, helped me so much. So please build margin into your week, because when we do that, we've got more space for the unexpected phone call. I even had it happen today. Emotional conversation, a phone call that I received, I needed to be present for. And I really didn't have time for it, if I'm just being really honest, but it was okay. Things happen. We get sick. There's delayed appointments, stressful moments. And then if you have too much built in your schedule, it starts to feel like everything's collapsing again. What does that make us feel? Overwhelmed. It makes us feel anxious. Juliet Funt has a fantastic book about the 1 minute pause and creating white space. In fact, in the Worthy Woman Planner, there's a space on there that says there's for you to put out your schedule, WS, and it's white space. And I encourage you to take white space, even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's just 10 minutes for yourself. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be able to exhale, and you're just going to be a better version of yourself, which is what I want for you. The more you can operate in the rhythm and pace of grace, the more your light is going to shine. The more of an ambassador you can be, the more love can exude from you, and the more of an impact you can make on others. When we feel behind, when we're exhausted, when we're reactive, when we're scattered, there's no way our best self is coming up. All right, so let me review these 5 weekly planning habits for you today. Number 1, a weekly brain dump. Number 2, review your calendar before your week starts. Number 3, prioritize your big rocks first. Number 4, plan your health first. And number 5, build margin into your week. Okay, as we wrap up this episode of the Worthy Woman podcast, thank you for being here. If you want more support in these areas and accountability and more structure, not only do I have the Worthy Woman Planner, but I want you to know I have a wonderful coaching container called Accelerate Her. And women have been in that group and they stay with me. Once they come in, they're like, oh, I'm not leaving. I didn't know this community existed. I didn't know there were women like me that want to have success God's way and want to do it with more peace, more joy, more purpose, and more energy. And if you're looking for that next level in yourself, I want to encourage you to come join us in this Accelerate Her. Your next level is going to require several things on your part. It's going to require new mindsets. It's going to require new habits. And doing it alone is hard. When you add accountability to what your goals, when you add accountability, this is crazy, but it shows the statistics show that you're 95% more likely to achieve your goal. So I want to encourage you to come join us and Accelerate Her, or if you're needing more one-on-one coaching, I do that as well. So get yourself the support that you need to get to your next level. So you've got this. And when you start to live your life intentionally and stop being in reactionary mode, everything will change. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you definitely don't need more hustle. You don't need to become someone else. You need these rhythms. You need systems. You need intentionality. And you need the habits that support the woman that God's calling you to be. And I promise you, these small weekly habits will create massive long-term transformation for you. So you've got this. I'm cheering you on. I am a cheerleader for your calling. I'm here to champion that calling inside of you. Ephesians 4:1, walk worthy of the calling inside of you. God's got an assignment that only you can fulfill. He's got assignments for you that only you can fulfill. Don't forget that you are made for more. I am here to cheer you on. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, please do me a favor. Share it, like, subscribe, review. You know the drill. And put it in your stories. Tag me, and I'll reshare it. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next episode of the Worthy Woman Podcast.
As we wrap up today, I want to remind you of the heartbeat behind this space. Ephesians 4:1 calls us to walk worthy of the calling we have received. And this podcast exists to help you rise into the identity God placed inside of you and to live out the assignment that He has entrusted you to do. My friend, you are needed, you are necessary, and your life carries purpose. If this episode encouraged you, would you please do me a favor and subscribe to the show? Leave a rating and a review, and please share it with a friend who also needs this reminder. And I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am cheering for you. I'm championing you on. And I will see you next week on the Worthy Woman Podcast.